Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, the Volkswagen story over the past several years has been an interesting one. Maybe somewhat on the sad situation as far as Volkswagen is concerned, because it went from this company that was all conquering, going after the jugular, trying to become the #1 car company on the planet, and now has become somewhat of a shell of what it once was. Now, it's still this big, monstrous company, and it's been impressive to see just how much funds they could pull away to be able to pay off some of the fines and the other odds and ends, and plus trying to find out problems or way around problems as far as these diesel scandal machines are concerned. And it did mean a lot of the company did get stripped away. Some of the parts of the company that I really enjoyed, like the all-conquering World Rally team that only rallied for 4 years, won 4 straight championships and 4 manufacturers' championships. Probably one of the most impressive runs and the most competitive runs in World Rally history. But when this particular group actually had to shut down their WRC operations, and a lot of people want to say, oh, it didn't have anything to do with the diesel scandal, I call bull on that run, because you know what? There was 2017 spec vehicles that were built, completed, and fully tested, ready for the 2017 season with the new spec regulations that never ever saw the light of day all of the year 2017. There are some rumors floating around that you may get to see some of those hit the WRC circuit sometime next year in 2018, as these cars that have been sitting around in mothballs for the past year may actually be sold off over the next several months. But we'll have to wait and see on that front. One of the other casualties that came from the diesel scandal situation, albeit this was maybe a little bit in and around than it would have happened anyway, is the Volkswagen Beetle. The Beetle was kind of hit the world over the past several years and was this big marketing success. Everybody wanted a Beetle. And then it kind of grew up a little bit. The modern day Beetle, I think, looks the best it has ever looked. And it's got a more broad appeal as far as what the vehicle looks, especially with that chopped roof and everything. And it's been a very successful vehicle, even winning a lot of rallying in its own right in the Rallycross series that's run here in the United States. Now, as far as the Beetle is concerned, we've talked about this vehicle going off into the sunset, never to be happened again. But Autocar's been rumoring about that this vehicle could see life again as an electric vehicle. And I have to say, this may be a great idea for the Volkswagen Group to take the iconic Beetle, a vehicle that everybody knows, everybody loves, and make it a full-on, full-fledged EV machine. I think it's got the pedigree, it's got everything it would need to make a perfect electric vehicle for the masses, even maybe coming out with a 4-door version of this machine possibly as well. I think this is a fantastic idea and could really springboard Volkswagen into becoming a more electrified manufacturer. So we'll have to wait and see if this deal ends up being true, but I think this may be a great idea. Next up on the list, well, if you've been living under a rock, you've probably been hearing about the ZR1 version of the Corvette, the next step up on the evolution of this C7 Corvette. In fact, this thing gets a bunch of upgrades that really puts it over the top, even the Corvette Z06 with the Z07 package. This thing turns it up a notch in almost every way, shape, and form, including a lot of work. You see the massive front hood on this machine, as it just has to be lifted up to get over the almost double-sized Eaton supercharger, that brand new supercharger, putting a lot more ponies in that 6.2-liter V8. But that hood also extracts a bunch of heat from inside of the vehicle as well. And gone is that polycarbonate little window where you got to see the supercharger itself in the last ZR1. In fact, you really notice something big on the front end of this machine. Look at the massive front vents all across the front of this vehicle. A lot of work went into the cooling of this vehicle with a brand new radiator system and 13 brand new heat extractors. The one thing about supercharging or turbocharging an engine, it really does develop a lot of heat, especially in the supercharger side of things, where there's a lot of heat soak, brings the performance down, brings the lap times down, and that's something that General Motors wants to keep, those lap times very consistent on this brand new machine. With all things going right, that 6.2-liter brand new Eaton supercharged engine now makes 755 horsepower, 715 pounds-feet of torque. That is shifted through either your choice of a 7-speed manual transmission or the 8-speed automatic. And I know what you may be thinking, hey, what about that brand new 10-speed? Well, apparently General Motors tried it, but the brand new packaging for this all-new machine didn't allow that 10-speed to actually be very viable as far as this vehicle is concerned. Now, of course, there's a lot of other racer goodies as they've redesigned the actual braking system, new Brembo calipers with carbon ceramic rotors as well. There's also some suspension setting modes, and that actually coincides with the aero mode as well, as there's a 2-stage, a low downforce and a high downforce settings. Low downforce settings apparently will allow this vehicle to get a top speed of 210 miles an hour. But if you take on the ZTK package, which is the high downforce setting, that's the brand new massive front splitter, the front dive planes, and that massive rear wing that is adjustable on the back of this machine, working out to 950 pounds of extra downforce as this vehicle reaches its top speed. Actually doubling up the downforce on every way, shape, and form as far as when you look at the Z07 package on the Z06. There's also brand new suspension settings as well that go inside with that particular setup, as well with the Michelin Pilot Cup tires, which gives it a much more track-focused machine. Now, the interior does get some upgrades as well, because, you know what? You sometimes want to hypermile this machine as well, and they've left all the creature comforts inside. This not so stripped-down, boned-down racer machine. This vehicle's got heated and cool seats, heated steering wheel, all the stuff that you really want to make this car an actual livable machine. Now, there hasn't been a pricing as of yet. There hasn't been an availability other than they're talking about spring of 2018. This vehicle will be available. We don't know performance numbers either. Other than that 210 mile an hour top speed, we haven't heard 0 to 60 numbers. Quarter mile times that speed as well. So we'll hopefully know a whole lot more coming up later this month. This vehicle possibly can make its official American debut at the LA Motor Show. So we'll definitely keep you in tune if we hear any more about that. Next up on the list, remember this machine, the Devel 16. It was this time, 5 years ago, when this vehicle made its debut at the Dubai Motor Show, promising all sorts of craziness, over 350 mile an hour top speed, over 5,000 horsepower. Well, apparently, sometime inside of this week, in the next several days, we're going to get to see an official production version of the Devel 16. And if you thought, like I thought, that this was some sort of a pipe dream, that this vehicle would never see existence in the real world, I've got a video up on the Facebook page of some of the final dyno testing numbers from the folks over at Steve Morrison Engines in Michigan that's actually been working on this quad turbocharged V16, where they had it down on their dyno run, apparently making well over 5,000 horsepower, much like the claim was to be. So it'll be pretty interesting to see just what exactly this thing looks like. Maybe a little less fighter jet looking as this thing does. But it'll be real interesting to see if these performance numbers can be for real. This engine can be livable with all day. So we'll have to wait and see on a lot of those fronts. Definitely in the next couple of videos, we may have a whole lot more to talk about the brand new Devel 16. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiast. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. Links down in the show notes. You can check out that Steve Morrison Engines video with that brand new quad turbocharged V16 if you'd like. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.